A grand jury has rejected a new indictment of New York Attorney General Letitia James. It's a decision that comes less than 2 weeks after a judge dismissed the earlier mortgage fraud case against her. A federal judge ruled the acting U.S. attorney in the case was not legally appointed and therefore not legally allowed to present to a grand jury. In a statement, James says, quote, "As I've said from the start, these charges against me are baseless. It is time for this unchecked weaponization of our justice system to stop." I want to bring in Sarah Lynch. She is the lead U.S. Justice Department reporter at Reuters and joins me now. So is this the end of this legal jeopardy that Tish James finds herself in now when it comes to the Trump administration, or are there potential other pitfalls ahead?
Well, from my reporting, that speaking with my sources, I understand that this is not the end. They do intend to try once again to seek an indictment. It could come any day. My understanding is that the grand jury is meeting again today. There's also a grand jury in Alexandria, Virginia, another part of the district where they might try it again. But I was told that this is not the end, and they're going to proceed and try perhaps a third time.
So the idea that we know these grand jury proceedings are sealed, but what does this mean for the James Comey case, which was also handled by this grand jury?
Well, the grand jury in Alexandria that handled the Comey case, we understand they intend most likely to try to bring that again. That one's a little bit trickier because the statute of limitations expired. The first time they got that indictment, they were rushing to beat that statute of limitations and just did it in the nick of time. And there's a lot of legal questions about whether they could proceed. When the judge ruled that Lindsay Halligan had been unlawfully appointed as the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, there was a footnote in that ruling which raised that question about whether they actually could seek an indictment again. My understanding, based on my reporting, is that they are weighing this, and this could also come in the very near future. But it's unclear if they will be successful. And even if they are able to get an indictment, there is a chance that it could be tossed out just based on the statute of limitations issue alone.
All right, let's talk about the big win that the Department of Justice did get yesterday with that arrest of the D.C. pipe bomber, or the suspected D.C. pipe bomber. Break down how they did it.
Well, you know, this is a case that has been going on for nearly 5 years. They've had a lot of false starts, a lot of suspects that haven't panned out. Basically, what we were told from Justice Department and FBI officials is that there were no new tips. Nothing like that. They basically just went and did kind of good old-fashioned shoe leather investigative acts. They were looking at purchasing records. They looked at a lot of records of things he had purchased, bomb-making materials allegedly, end caps and pipes and wires and kitchen timers, and they matched that up with his banking records. They looked at, cell phone ping data, geolocation data, and were able to place him in the location near the RNC and the DNC where those bombs were placed the night before the January 6th riots at the Capitol. They looked at a license plate reader, and they saw that his car was in that area that evening. And they sort of just pieced that all together through many, many hundreds of thousands of records to try to put this together. We still don't really know a lot. There's been no information to date about what a potential motive could be. We also don't know, for example, if they've uncovered the now infamous Nike sneakers that the suspect is wearing in the surveillance video. The suspect is expected to appear in court this afternoon, and so we might start to learn a bit more about what was uncovered in those search warrants that were executed at his parents' house on Thursday.
All right, Sarah Lynch reporting for us. Sarah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome.